All right, happy Monday, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. We've got a 10-game MLB slate. We're going to talk about every game. As always, I've got 4 best bets for you guys today. A recap from yesterday, it was a good Sunday. We went 3-1, up 1.64 units, so really good weekend. Obviously, we took Saturday off, but we went up a little over 3 units on the weekend. We'll take that. Weekends have been pretty crazy the last couple of weeks. So recap, Brandon Woodruff over 4.5 Ks. That was silly sweat free. Ended up at 8. We had the Angels and the Blue Jays over 9. GG, didn't cash for us. We had the Phillies minus 1.5. Big 8th inning 2-run home run there. Help us cash that one. And we had the Tigers team total over 4.5. That was pretty wild. It was 1-1 after 9 innings. And the Tigers exploded in the 10th, ended up scoring 6 runs. So cash that for us. So really good day. All right, let's get into this slate. Talk about these 10 games. First game kicking us off today is going to be the Reds and the Marlins. A little bit of weather expected in this one. I'm not sure they get this game in. It's going to be 82 degrees, 52% chance of rain, but if that rain comes, it will be heavy. So really good chance this game could get delayed or canceled. There is a 6-mile-an-hour wind that's going to be blowing out. I don't have anything in this just because of the weather. I'm going to wait. I don't know if I can get behind Brady Singer here. I just don't simply trust him, if I'm being honest. Marlins have been hitting the ball pretty decent. Reds over the last week have not been good. They're hitting 198 against righties with a 53 WRC plus, 236 over the past 2 weeks. Singer splits, giving up a 245 average to lefties. But really, for me, what does it is the righties. When I'm looking at this Marlins team, giving up a 348 average to righties, 45% hard hit percentage, almost a 92-mile-an-hour exit velo, 278 runners in scoring position, giving up a 4 ERA at home in 8 games. Now, that's a little skewed. He started off the season really good at home, and he's just kind of been poop for his last 4 or 5 outings, in my opinion. He had 1 decent outing in there. On the other side's Jansen Junk, not a dude I trust. 286 average to lefties, 182 to righties. 51% hard hit percentage, almost a 93-mile-an-hour exit velo, 361 average runners in scoring position, and about a 5.5 ERA on the road. That said, pitch splits look bad for Singer. He throws the fastball 53% of the time. Marlins are 5th in the last 30 days. Throws the slider about 36% of the time. Marlins are 11th. Now, where he might find success is with his cutter, but like I said, just don't trust this dude. So it would probably be Marlins or nothing for me. If there is a delay, I don't mind the over. Like I said, rain equals runs, especially at GABP. After rain, the ball is going to be carrying like crazy. So Marlins or the over for me in that one. Next game is going to be the Rockies and the Red Sox. This is going to be old Dick Fitz going up against Austin Gomber. So Gomber on the season 0-1 with a 313 opponent average, but he doesn't have a lot of innings under his belt. He's got 19.2 innings under his belt, but he just doesn't strike out anybody. He's got 6 Ks in 19 innings, so that works out to about 0.3 Ks per innings pitched. I just can't get behind this dude. Not somebody I want to trust. That said, Dick Fitz ain't somebody I want to trust either. But I do think there are runs scored in this game. Over 9.5 is a good bet. It's going to be 83 degrees, 16% chance of rain, 10-mile-an-hour wind blowing out. I just don't know if the Rockies will score. That is my concern here. And the Red Sox against lefties have been pretty damn hot lately. This is a top 5 team offensively over the last 2 weeks. Over the past week, really, they've been hitting it much better. 318 with a 153 WRC plus. Been absolutely raking with runners in scoring position over the past 2 weeks. Hitting 364 over the past week, 319 over the past 2 weeks. Give me the Red Sox race to 5 as my best bet. If you want to go run line, if you don't have a race to 5, I don't mind Red Sox minus 1.5. So it's Red Sox minus 1.5, the over, but our official play is going to be Red Sox race to 5 minus 110. Does get a little scary just because they're only going to get, if they are winning, which I'm assuming they will be, they won't get their full 9 ABs, but I think they're going to put up a ton of runs today, given the weather and the pitching here. Next game is going to be the Dodgers and the Brewers. Should be a really good game here. It's going to be Yamamoto going up against fastball Freddie Peralta. Peralta on the season is 9-4. Yamamoto 8-6. Both of these guys have sub 200 opponent averages. ERA fairly close. Peralta's 291, Yamamoto 251. On the road and home, both of their ERAs go down. Yamamoto is 157 at home in 8 home starts. Freddie Peralta 176 in 8 away starts. Both of these guys have looked really good. My only issue with fastball Freddie is righties have been getting to him. They're hitting 359 over the last 30 days, and he's not really striking them out at a very high clip. But he is doing a good job against lefties. I think this is a pretty low-scoring game. Obviously it's going to be in a dome because it's in Milwaukee. Milwaukee is a good home team. They're 27-17. Dodgers just got swept by the Astros. Pretty ugly sweep, actually. Now they're hitting the road, going from West Coast to East Coast. It feels like a Brewers spot to me. Under 7.5 looks pretty appealing in my opinion, but Brewers +1 would probably be the way I would go in this contest. All right, next game is going to be Toronto and the White Sox. Oh, the White Sox. This one's going to be Jose Barrios going up against Sean Burke. Barrios has looked pretty decent at home. He's got a 3 ERA in 8 home starts. Burke also has a 3 ERA in 9 away starts. Splits look pretty good for Barrios. I like the way he's pitching to righties, giving up a 185 average. Strikeout rates about 23-24% to both sides of the plate. Hard hit percentage is okay. Doing a really good job with runners in scoring position. This is a Blue Jays team that just kind of shows up at home. So I wouldn't mind looking at the Blue Jays on the run line. I just don't know if I want to trust Barrios. I just have a problem trusting him. Burke 4-7 on the season. Barrios 4-3. Both of them right around a 240 opponent average. You know, this could be a sneaky spot for the White Sox. I don't love the pitch mix here for Barrios. If we look at this White Sox team over the last 30 days, they're a top 10 team offensively, hitting the fastball really well, hitting the cutter pretty decent, hitting the curveball and changeup well, all top 8 in those categories. So could see some runs scored. Over 8.5 would be the only way I would play this game. Like I said, it's going to be in Chicago, 74 degrees, 9-mile-an-hour wind that's going to be blowing left to right. It's kind of in and out, but I would just play the over. I think the White Sox, they're a sneaky team at home. A home record is 19-24, so it's not like they're complete trash at home. On the road, they're awful. They're 11-36, but at home, they just find sneaky ways to win. So I think you're getting a sneaky price here to take the White Sox. Maybe White Sox +1 or White Sox on the run line. All right, next game is going to be Pittsburgh, and Kansas City is going to be Andrew Heaney going up against Noah Cameron. Noah Cameron on the year, he's 2-4. He's got a 2.56 ERA that does jump to 4.28 at home. That said, we look at the teams that have gotten to him. They've been some powerhouse teams. When he's faced smaller market teams, that's what we'll say. That's the friendlier way of saying it. He typically is pretty dominant. So this one, the Pirates, after that great series against the Cardinals where they swept them and shut them out, they go to Seattle and then get shut out. So that's actually the first time ever in MLB history a team has shut out another team, and then the very next series they get shut out and didn't score a run the entire series. First time it's ever happened. So now they're traveling from Seattle to Kansas City. It's a royal spot for me. I like the under 8.5 though. That's what we're going to play. Under 8.5. I think Andrew Heaney is going to be able to somewhat stymie this team. And then I think that Noah Cameron should have his way here. Over the past week, Pittsburgh's hitting 111 versus lefties with a -34 WRC+. That is pretty bad. So we're going to back that there's just a low-scoring game here. Kansas City obviously isn't an offensive juggernaut. In terms of the weather, it's going to be 87 degrees. There is a 49% chance of rain, 6-mile-an-hour wind blowing right to left. From what I could tell, it didn't seem like it was going to be rain that was going to cause any delays or anything like that. Could change, obviously, but from what I could tell, I think we're good. This Pittsburgh bullpen has been outstanding. It's actually the #1 bullpen in baseball over the last 30 days. And then we look at the Royals bullpen, they're about middle of the road. So even once we get beyond Haney and Cameron, we still have pretty decent pitching that should be able to, somewhat shut down these teams. We look at the splits for Cameron over the last 30 days, giving up a .071 average to lefties, 196 to righties. Haney, 232 to righties, 258 to lefties. So I think he does enough to keep this game pretty low scoring. If I had to pick a winner, I'd probably go Royals -1 would be the way I would play that. All right, next game is going to be Cleveland and Houston. It's going to be Colton Gordon going up against Tanner Bibee. So lefty on righty matchup, Astros at home. We talked about it. Really good team at home, 32-14 on the season. Guardians have lost 10 straight games. They are 0-10. Whereas the Astros coming off a really nice series win, sweeping the Dodgers. Now they come back home. Kind of feels like a letdown spot here. I think it's really hard to lose 11 straight games in the MLB. It's a pretty amazing feat that Cleveland's lost 10 in a row. Offensively, they've just been terrible. I mean, last 2 weeks against lefties, hitting 188. Over the past week, they're hitting 189. Just really bad. Runners in scoring position, they're dead last in baseball over the last 30 days, 14 days, and 7 days. Whereas you got this Astros team that is scorching hot offensively. #1 team in baseball last 2 weeks and over the last week. Specifically over the past week, they're hitting 362 with a 191 WRC plus, and they're hitting 371 with runners in scoring position. My issue with Bibee, he kind of gives it up to both sides of the plate, 235 to lefties, 245 to righties. Hard hit percentage is low, which is fantastic. Struggling with runners in scoring position. Got about a 5.5 ERA on the road. I don't trust this Cleveland team to score runs. So it would be the Astros. Astros -1 or under 7.5. I just don't even know if Cleveland will get a run. So under 7.5 looks pretty appealing on that one. Next game, Texas and the Angels. Good pitching matchup here. Yusei Kikuchi going up against Jacob DeGrom. DeGrom 9-2 on the season with a 190 opponent average. Kikuchi 3-6 on the year, but at home he's been a demon. 1.12 ERA in 8 home starts. I just feel like regression is coming for Kikuchi. His splits just don't reflect that of somebody that has a 1 ERA at home. He's given up a 333 average, lefty on lefty, 241 average to righties. Hard hit percentage is really high. Runners in scoring position, giving up a 261 average. That just doesn't, those numbers don't equate to a guy that has a 1 ERA. Jacob DeGrom on the other side, 220 to lefties, 170 to righties, but he's been K'ing lefties at an insane rate, 32%. We know that this Angels team is extremely prone to striking out. So there could be some opportunities for a K ladder here for DeGrom if you'd like. Yeah, this one, I mean, it's priced properly, I think. Rangers -157. I would probably go Rangers -1. Over-under of 7.5 with the wind blowing out today. That's a tough one. Could look at a Rangers team total over, just do Rangers -1, but can't really, I'm not going to fade DeGrom. He has like some kind of insane stat where he's like 19-0 when his team's favorited by like -140 or more. So not really going to get in the business of fading him. I kind of view that very similar to like Zach Wheeler, which we said we weren't fading yesterday, and we didn't. All right, next game is going to be the D-backs and the Padres. Yu Darvish making his season debut. So thought he was going to pitch the other day, but they pushed him back a little bit. He'll be going up against Zach Gallen tonight. Gallen has been dumpster fire on the road. 5.21 ERA in 8 starts. Really getting hammered by righties. 275 average, 47% hard hit percentage, giving up almost a 270 average with runners in scoring position. So not somebody I can trust here. A prop that almost made the card today. I don't have any props actually today, but this one almost did. Was going to be Zach Gallen over 2.5 earned runs at -120 on Fanatics. So I do like that play. When we look at Gallen, though, he's actually had some decent success in Petco Park, but he's still just not, he's just not somebody I trust whatsoever. So it would be the Padres on the money line. If we look at the D-backs, they're 3-7 in their last 10. On the road, they're 500, 21-21. Padres 27-15 at home. I don't think Darvish is going to come out and look like total crap. I think he's able to keep them off balance a little bit. We saw the D-backs get shut out yesterday in a game they should not have been shut out. So wonder if they're struggling a little bit offensively. Big divisional series here for the Padres. I think they get up. Weather-wise, it's going to be 69 degrees, no rain, 9-mile-an-hour wind blowing left to right and slightly in. So should impact scoring a little bit. 8.5 might be a bit heavy for me, but I'm not going to mess around with, hoping that this D-backs bullpen doesn't implode in the later innings. So it's Padres for me. You can get Padres -1 at close to plus money right now. And then last game on the card today is going to be the Phillies and the Giants. Phillies coming off back-to-back wins here, 6-4 in their last 10. Giants also coming off back-to-back wins, 5-5 in their last 10. Obviously coming off that trip against the A's, so not a terrible trip back home. So in this one, we've got Christopher Sanchez going up against Landon Roop. Landon Roop, 6-5 on the season, giving up a 260 opponent average. Sanchez, 7-2 on the year, 228 opponent average. Two guys with fairly low ERAs, and Roop at home's been pretty fantastic. 6 home starts under his belt this season, giving up a 185 ERA. Sanchez, 9 road starts, 242 ERA. Splits don't look bad. They definitely favor Sanchez more than Roop. Lefty on lefty, Sanchez giving up a 240 average, but 221 to righties. Landon Roop, 190 to lefties. So there's obviously some pretty decent lefty bats in this Phillies lineup with Schwarber and Harper and Kepler and those guys. But he's given up a 286 average to righties. So I would lean more towards the Phillies. I want to see the fact that he's giving it up to righties makes me feel a little more comfortable. Just because, it's not going to be always up to Schwarber and Harper to, kind of win this game. Trey Turner over HRRs is something that I do like today as well. 61 degrees with an 11-mile-an-hour wind blowing out. We're going to take the Phillies on the first 5. We're just going to take them on the first 5 here. I like this matchup between Sanchez and Roop. I don't like the way the Giants are hitting against lefties. They are a bottom 5 team against lefties over the last 2 weeks, bottom 10 team over the last week. Struggled a little bit with runners in scoring position. We kind of say that for the Phillies as well. But I think Roop's going to be a really nice pitch mix for them that they should be able to get to. There's a lot of curveballs and changeups. Only throws a fastball about 40% of the time. So I do like this spot for the Phillies here on the road. Let's talk about our best bets today. But before we do that, guys, make sure you guys like the video. Comment down below with your favorite plays. I enjoy seeing what you guys are on today. And if you have questions about any plays, post them down below. I will try to respond to everybody who asks a question. Let's get into these best bets. First best bet, Red Sox, race to 5. Like I said, if you don't have this, if you're not using DraftKings, I don't mind Red Sox run line -1.5 at -115 or somewhere around there. You should be able to find it. Tigers, team total over 3.5. We didn't talk about this game. Holy shit. All right, let's go back and talk about this game real quick. Why was that on there? Shane Baz going up against Keter Montero. So the reason why I don't want to take Tigers full game, which I do have the Tigers winning this. I do actually. I got it pretty close, actually. But it's Shane Baz going up against Keter Montero. Tigers faced Baz earlier in the year, and they scored like 4 or 5 off of him. They got to him pretty good. That said, Keter Montero's probably going to pitch. I won't say start. He's going to pitch for the Tigers. They'll most likely use an opener. So they'll go with Herder or Holton or one of those guys to kind of open the game, go 1 or 2 innings, and then they'll bring in Montero. I just don't want to trust Montero. His splits against lefties are terrible. 366 average over the last 30 days. Shane Baz is giving up a 300 average to lefties and righties over the last 30 days. Hard hit percentage too high for me. So I do like the Tigers to get some runs in this game. It's going to be 72 with a 10-mile-an-hour wind. That's going to be slightly blowing out here. So that's why I'm just taking their team total over. If you want to take them on the money line, I think there's great value taking the Tigers to win this game today. But we're just going to take them to get 4 runs. And then we're going to take the Pirates and the Royals under 8.5. I just don't think the Pirates are going to be able to get to Noah Cameron. And I think the Royals might struggle a little bit against Andrew Haney. And then our last play is going to be Phillies first 5. Like I said, couple leans. Zach Gallen over 2.5 earned runs. Also like Sean Burke over 3.5 Ks at home against this Toronto team. He's over this in like 6 or 7 straight games. So that's another K prop that I like today. So those are the plays, guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in to the channel. And I'll catch you in the next video.